Okay, my art. Okay, my art. Get started in just a few moments here. I hope everybody is well. Okay. Give it a couple of moments for a few folks to come in. Anke Ma'at as you come in. I am here alone today, so the session will be on schedule. If there's any volunteers that would like to come on with me, say that in the chat. Hotep Sin Jason. Sin Ampu. All right, we give it a few moments here. Our Himneta Wasiri will not be with us today. He is in the hospital, so we will say a prayer for him a little later. I asked you all be patient with me. I'm doing this alone today. Let's see, make sure I can see. Here we are, Anka Ma'at. That's Sinette Cortia. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Let's get this show on the road today. Well, Anka Ma'at to all of you. Thanks for joining, those who are tuned in. We have reached the last Sunday of November. Last Sunday of the month here. Soon things will start, it's getting colder. I'm not sure where I know everybody is all over. I'm here in Virginia and it is cold, like the 40s. So to all of you out there in warm areas, I envy you right now. I do not like being cold. I guess in my older age, I don't like being too hot either. But that's all right. We take what we can get. Everything is in divine order. Let's go ahead and get started. Started with the opening of the way so we can get the morning on and you all can get on with your Sunday affairs. I always face north. We're going to stand in the pose of adoration with your left hand slightly forward and your right hand slightly back. Same with the foot, left foot slightly forward and your right foot slightly back. And we'll take a deep breath and chant the word of everlasting life, which is Ankh. Ankh. Netrak in bed head. Nuke in bed head. Netrak happy. Nuke happy. Twau enter. Netrak circuit. Nuke circuit. Netrak kepsanoof. Nuke kepsanoof. Twau enter. Netrak ost. Nuke ost. Netrak set. Nuke set. Twau enter. Netrak neat. Nuke neat. Netrak dwamutef. Nuke dwamutef. Twau enter. Netrak newt. Nuke newt. Netrak geb. Nuke geb. Twau enter. And let's rock shoe, 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 new shoe. And let's rock tefnu, 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 new tefnu. To our winter. And let's rock pout into the new pout into the and let's rock and boo into the new and boo into the to our winter. To our winter. Do I. To our winter. All right, guys. Again, of course, now I need to take these off. Pay homage. Dua Baba Heru. Ma'at Heru, opener of the way, barrier of Ma'at, custodian of the Ankh. We continue the ritual which you brought to us in its current form to continue your legacy as we continue to walk in Ma'at. So I light the candle for Baba Heru, and I have here his book, his candle, and we place that on the altar as we begin today's adoration session. Let's give out our flowers. As always, first and foremost, foremost to our ancestors, all of the Neteru, Himneter and Tepi Jabari, also named Himneter and Tepi Jajed Ma'at Aten Ra Jabari. Shout out to our shrine chief that's brought many of us together, Himneter Waziri and his queen, Tara, for always allowing him to be here with us. Though he couldn't be here with us today, he's with us in spirit. And we will get into that a little bit later as well. And then, of course, we give thanks to all of you for always showing up and supporting every week. So let's go ahead and get our sound bowl and get right into it. Let's get our minds right. Let's clear up some things so we can get into today's reading. Starting with the 4 breaths of life. The first one, of course, we're going to take a deep breath to clear our mind. And the second one to clear our spirits. And the third to lighten our hearts. Fourth and final, we breathe in Ma'at and exhale Ifset. I awake to live in Ma'at. I align my thoughts, my words, and actions. All right. All right. Let me send. I do have somebody coming. Send Curtis. I'm going to send you the link right now. So that's wonderful. Dua Natur. I have a little bit of masculine energy here with me. All right. But I do have something good for you today. So at least while we're waiting on St. Curtis, let me show you what we'll be reading from today. So that's what we'll be reading from. That is the Book of Keti, number 2. So while we're waiting on Sin Curtis, um, I don't want to give up any announcements or anything like that, but I can tell you a little bit about what's going on with him at Wasiri. So he had a situation over the weekend, and on Friday, he went into, I think Saturday actually, I spoke to Sinette Terra this morning. He went into the hospital. He was a little off balance and things like that. So they kept him to check him out. So we want to definitely send our prayers out to him. And when we do, we can actually go in that order. And once St. Curtis comes in, if he can give, some words as well. But we want to definitely call forth Ankh Uja Seneb to our Himneta Wasiri right now while he is going through his checkups to see what's going on. And we know that the Netaru will allow him to rise like the day, and he will come back renewed and healed and better. So send him your support as well. And at least at this time, all of you who do have the Husia, you can go ahead and get your book so that once Sin Curtis comes in, we'll get started. I can send it to you the other way if you need to, Sin Curtis. Many of you, I know all of you that are already in the New Jersey and New York area. I look forward to seeing you all then. Hopefully, yes, you got it. That is correct. Page 50. You got it. Page 50. Sonette Corsia. Those of you who will be making it out for Baba Heru's celebration next weekend, I hope to see you all there. As many of you who can come. Perfect. Dua. All right. Let's see. St. Curtis is saying something now. We might be. Okay. Switching laptops. And I'm sure you all saw all the links. I hope that all of you who are coming have already registered in the Eventbrite and everything. All right, send and Pooh, I see you there. But yeah, the Eventbrites, you can register for both days or one day. I also, in fact, this might be a little out of order while we're waiting on him. That's okay. We can go into some of those announcements then. For the ceremony next weekend, I'm also looking for anybody who is coming. If you would like to volunteer to help out being an usher, please inbox me. I did get a couple of responses that'll be helping. We do need volunteers for both days, Sunday and Saturday. So if you would like to do so, please inbox me and I will, yes. Well, Sinet Cortia, I'm not sure how they're doing a live stream, and I don't know. I don't think you would have to register for that, but I want to imagine it's going to be live. I'm not for sure how they're coordinating the video or the footage. If it's going to be live or it's going to be recorded and showed, later. I'm not sure. Absolutely not sure about that. If I find out, I will definitely let you know. But to be there, you do have to register. Um, so for those of you who are coming, and if anybody would like to volunteer to help usher, that would be great. Looking for also anyone coming that has any kind of security skill, that would be great as well. Medical skills, great as well. Some volunteers are definitely needed. So just inbox me and let me know, or contact me. Most of all of you have the way to get in touch with me to let me know, and I'll give you the details on that. What else we had as far as announcements? I think also we know that tomorrow is actually the first Monday of the month. There we are. We have St. Curtis coming in, and we have we have Hemnetter Ames. Wonderful. Uncle Ma'at Hemnetter.
Uncle my
How are you feeling? How are you feeling?
Oh, it's starting off a little shaky this morning, but for the most part, I'm good.
Good.
I'm
All right. Well, take
good.
your time. Hemnetter Missouri couldn't be here this morning. I had St. Curtis was going to come in. Um,
Hmm.
and I was kind of going out of order, telling them the announcements while I was waiting on St. Curtis.
Okay. Did
And
that continue?
hmm and then here on the screen, that was where we're going to read today.
Uh, I, uh, I have to get a new one. I gave mine out.
Okay, it's a very short passage there.
Okay, you're in the show.
Okay, yeah. So
One question: have they changed the screen up in StreamYard?
yes, they have, and it's so strange. It looks so weird. Yes, there's a split
'Cause I can't get
screen.
a bigger. I
Yeah,
can't get a big screen no more.
yeah. It won't. It's giving me a split screen because one's on YouTube and one's on Facebook. So it's
Uh,
giving these, and it makes you choose the option. Actually, I wonder if I can hide. Let's see this.
but it won't make your screen big. I mean,
Mm-mm.
it won't fill up the page like it used to.
Yeah, it won't fill it up. It won't fill it up. You can only. It's still going to be small squares like that.
Mm. We need to contact them to see if we can change that up.
And then when you do it, it forces you to pick this thing.
Mhm.
Um, but I was going out of order, and I was telling them about the announcements for next weekend's celebration for Baba Heru.
Uh,
Reminded everyone to be sure to register for one or the other or both on Eventbrite if they haven't already. And they're also looking for volunteers who are able to usher.
okay. Has Ntepi Jabari said anything on what the shrine is doing?
No, he has not mentioned, and hopefully he will say something about that today in Comedic Ascension.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm on the committee crew for the planning of the Baba Heru ceremony, and there
Mm-hmm.
are, I guess, people members from all the different shrines and spiritual houses that are parts of this committee, and I'm there from the Shrine of Ma'at there, and it's on our private page, Cortia, in Facebook. So on Facebook, it's the private page, and on YouTube, it's public. But on the committee, they're thinking about having basically it'll be this at the auditorium at Medgar Evers, we're thinking about dividing them into the different temple houses. So everybody will have a section and things like that. But he hasn't said anything in particular as to what we're doing. Um, they are asking that everybody wear white and like a hint of purple scarf for Patah, since that was the color for Baba. And then perhaps we should all wear of course, our Shrine of Ma'at pendants. I don't know what else we could do besides trying to get there to, sit together at least.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta go. I think Kepra sent me something. Oh yeah, this is the Everbright. Now, and you have to sign up. I didn't get a chance to look at it, but I will.
Okay, and it's
Are
the
both
2 days.
days at Vegas? Is both days at Mega Evans?
No, Saturday is at the Caribbean Culture Center. So that's where that will be Saturday. And then on Sunday, it will be at Medgar Evers. And Saturday is more less formal. They're asking red and white on that day.
So, which one is less formal?
The less formal is on Saturday.
Saturday is less formal.
Yes, yes. Who has the echo? Is that St. Curtis? Is that yours with the echo?
He stepped away. It looks like.
Okay, yeah. I just muted him. I'll unmute him. But yes, Saturday is less formal. They're asking red and white. And Sunday is going to be the more formal, although they'll both have, programs. Sunday is going to be the more formal comedic rituals and things like that on that.
Okay.
So, yeah. And what else? Was there anything else in the announcements? And like I was saying, tomorrow is the first Monday, which typically is supposed to be our shrine meeting, but we haven't talked to Intepi, so I will get with send Jason and Senatan to see if they're willing to help host that meeting tomorrow, and we will put out the announcement later on to see if we can get assistance in doing that, and we can have our shrine meeting tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay. That would be all of the announcements. And I did tell, again, we're going out of order, so we'll do Sabai after. But for the prayer request, of course, we wanted to always keeping you in prayer as you're healing. But Hemnetter Waziri is in the hospital.
He's in the hospital?
In the hospital, which is why he couldn't be here. I spoke to Sinette Tara this morning, and he went in the hospital yesterday. He should be coming home today or tomorrow, perhaps. They're running tests. She said that he was acting a little off on Friday, like losing his balance, and wouldn't go. And then he went, and so they kept him, and they're running some tests and things like that.
Okay. Yes, let's keep him in our prayers.
Yes. So that's what's going on there. Outside of that, all right. St. Curtis, welcome. Thank you for joining. Sorry for hitting you up at the last minute there. You know what I mean? I just got that call this morning. She did call me last night, but I was knocked out. I had to work yesterday. So,
no problem.
But sorry. Thank you for always doing that. And it doesn't matter. You always jump in. It's, you're always available.
Yeah, I woke up a little late. I overslept, so I apologize, but I'm here.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for being here. And all right.
Hemnetter, Ahmed, Ahmad.
Ahmad, son, Curtis.
All right. So we've done the opening of the way already, and we've done the, the flowers in that portion. So I picked out something. I'm sorry, please, Hemnetter.
Oh, I said, okay. I was like St. Curtis. I was running a little behind. I didn't wait. I was just trying to get ready to jump in. I was just running around.
That's all right. That's all right. I wasn't sure if St. Curtis would make it, and I always send you the link him.
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
means, depending on how you're feeling, I know you're either gonna, come on, or if you're not, then I know you might, be
Mhm.
resting. So, and since it was short notice, I was just hoping, but always in divine order. Cause look, I've got you guys.
Yes, 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 yes.
All right. So, St. Curtis, let's see if he has his. He can actually read the passage.
Yes, I
So,
am
do you
here.
have your Lucia there?
Is that
All right. It's page number 50.
This thing is so small. I see the book, but I don't see the page.
Let's see if I can do one time this way, then I'll exit it.
But you said it. That's good. You said it. Page
So it
50.
is
And
page 50,
okay.
and it's the book of Ketty, number
yes?
2.
I've got it.
Okay.
St. Curtis, would you like to do the reading? I've done enough talking for the morning.
Oh no, you're fine. And are we reading just number 2?
Just number 2, and we can discuss from there.
Perfect. Okay. Follow in the footsteps of your ancestors, for the mind is trained through knowledge. Behold, their words endure in books. Open and read them, and follow their wise counsel. For one who is taught becomes skilled. Do not be evil, for kindness is good. Make the memory of your last through love of you. Multiply the people whom the city shelters. Then God will be praised for your donations, and the people will give thanks for your goodness and pray for your health.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Ashe. All right. Why don't you two start the dialogue? What do you think about that passage?
Well, again, we have a reflection to go back to your ancestors, our ancestors, and reflect on their teachings. And it appears that if you do this, um, you you kind of like, especially in the public eye, um, it's um, it's imperative that you do these things because as he was reading there, I quickly ran into my book of the teachings of Ptah, and like you said, things come in divine order. So I'm going to read you something from that, and we can piggyback off the both of them into what I think is being related to us. So this is out of the teachings of Ptah, page 19, and it's 6 in the teachings, and it says, "Do not scheme against people. God will punish accordingly. If a man says, 'I shall live by scheming,' he will lack bread for his mouth. If a man says, 'I will be rich,' he will have to say, 'My cleverness has trapped me.' If he says, 'I will trap for myself,' he will not be able to say, 'I've trapped for my profit.' If a man says, 'I rob someone,' he will end up being given to a stranger.
Hmm.
People's schemes do not prevail. God commands what we prevail. Therefore, live in the midst of peace. What God gives, should I say, nectar gives, comes by itself. And so, from both of those readings, as you can see, it first reflects on you, and then how you treat others. So that's what I got from that reading. From the is because you will be um, maybe in charge or be in a position to deal with others. How do you look at it, Sin Curtis?
Wow. I actually had to reread it.
Mhm.
And there was the sentence that really threw me when I first read it was make the memory of you last through love of you.
Mm,
That's right.
And in the second reading, what my comprehension is that through our reading the words of our ancestors as they're teaching us how they lived, how we should live, I believe this is also saying multiply the people whom the city shelters, then God will be praised for your donations. That they're telling us to share this, share
mm,
what we learn with others. Now, I think this kind of borders on proselytizing. I don't think they're telling us go knock on doors. I'm not
mm,
so sure. I'm not so sure. But I do believe what they're saying here is that, or for me, is that as we multiply the people, as we share what we're learning with others, and then they come to be trained and skilled, then it says the praise, then God will be praised for your donation. So every time I share this with somebody that begins to become trained, begins to throw off the dust, begins to wake up, and then they begin to read and study and share with whoever, then, you know, Ra, Amen Ra, Ra Nebetet, they will be praised. And we will be praised for the work we're doing, just as we're about to have our ceremony and everything for Baba Haru. And for our elders here that have passed this on to us through our Habaku groups and our continued training, like him, Netter, Ahmez, even like yourself, Sanet Shin Call, who, you know, big part of passing this on to me. So, and give thanks for your goodness and pray for your health. The people that we touch, just like we're praying for Himnetter Waziri right now. For we prayed for Himnetter Ahmed and Baba Haru. When we heard, you know, he wasn't well, we prayed. Those people that we touch give thanks for our goodness, and they pray for our continued health. So that's what I'm getting from this. That's my take on this.
Absolutely. I will chime in and say I definitely highlighted that. Make the memory of you last through the love of you. And that's
mm,
exactly what I was you even took it a bit further, which was also never your perspective on it, because I thought make the memory of you last through the love of you. You know, and based off of what Hemnetta Armes read too, where he was saying, if a man sets out and says, "I'm going to do this," then this will happen. Well, making the memory of you lasting from the love of you, meaning that the things that you have done have been in my eye. Just like you
mm,
said, you've prayed for another. Nobody forced you to do it. You did it because your heart said so. It was
mm,
not something that you did for show. It was a sincere act of your divinity to Ma'at, to the things that you feel are true to you. Nobody has to tell you to pray for somebody that you love, because that is genuine. You are also and opening these pages, following our ancestors' footsteps, because we have this love, and you spread this knowledge, just like you said, him that our mess has done to us. All of those who've exposed us to where we are now was a
Mhm.
form of love that they've passed on to us. We're doing the same by doing it, here. And
mm,
like you said, giving that knowledge. In the beginning of this session, Himnet Ahmed said he gave his book to somebody. He gave
Mm,
this. See what I'm saying? He's
yes.
passing that knowledge, that same
mm,
knowledge. I'm sure the book he passed has marks in it from when he read through it.
mm,
You know what I mean? So
Yes.
imagine giving someone your book that you have made your notes through, and how that is giving that knowledge on and passing love on, sincere,
Yes.
genuine love. And then they're able to love another. And guess what they're going to remember? That you, St. Curtis, Hemnet or Ames, gave me this, now I'm giving it to you. So they're always paying homage to you, and down the line that just trickles. And that is how we keep these gates open and keep opening them and keep them open so that the hidden doesn't have to be hidden anymore.
And it's keeping your heart as light as a feather in that instance, because um after and I'll tell you, it's funny. I gave the Hosea book away, and I said, "Oh, I'll get another one, I'm sure." And so I went online, and the prices were like triple of what it was. I was like, "Oh my God!" I gave away a prized possession, and people were selling it for. I think if you ain't careful, it's up to $200 if you're not in some places. But I know that that person needed it. But you do get that little thing, and you got to get your house. I'm like, what did I do? But then, what? I gave that away. You know. Oh no, that's some bitches.
But
But then
what a blessing that you did for something. You know what I mean?
you did for someone, and I said, we gonna figure a way to get me another copy. I was telling Jabari, and I was like, I gotta get me another copy. But then it also reminds you that you have to hang on to your jewels, your teachings too. So um, it is good. You go what the Torah puts in your heart to do, the Nebuchadnezzar. It keeps your heart light as a feather, because like I said before, you'll get many blessings in return
Mhm.
that you never see. Like, I look back now on certain things, and like I think I mentioned this before. I've done things, and I'm like, and you do question sometimes. You only hear, where's my blessings? And I right now, in this healing process that I am going through, I've been very blessed. I had blessed hands that was able to work on me for removing of a cancerous tumor, which, by the way, turned out to be so rare that I'm the first case study. It's not
Mm.
this, not the cancer is not hasn't been the way it manifested and presented itself in me. And that they're gonna have to write up, because they have never came across a case like that. I've like this before. So, and then on top of that, not only was he a gifted surgeon, and that could and with the technology that's out now, was able to remove the cancer tumor wholly from my without it breaking. He turned out that he studied plastic surgery, got his certification, and he put me back together
Mm.
pretty well. So there's your blessing. So sometimes when we looking for things to come back, that's why I was a way I was hearing from the when St. Curtis was reading, it was reflecting on also what you do to community. And that's why Tar Hotep was saying, don't be a schemer.
Mhm.
Don't be a schemer in what you're trying to do. Don't be saying this, you know, don't be saying that. And I loved it at the end. It just said like this, and it was very simple. Uh, what Nebuchadnezzar gives comes by itself.
Mm. Mm.
That's how it ended.
Mm.
What Nebuchadnezzar gives, it comes by itself. The divine omnipotence, the omniscience, omnipresence of it all comes by itself. You're just a tool in it,
Mm.
in
Don't
the
have
process.
attachments. It comes by itself. Yes, yes. Which is
So,
why even and like you were saying and what you read, Hemnetter, even if you are, for instance, we talked about, we pray for people, praying for Hemnetter Wasiri, praying for you. If you're praying for them to get something, then the prayer is null and void. But if you're praying from your heart, you see, there's a whole purity thing to it. Some people do things just for show, and I'm not, not the judge of those people, but the sincerity isn't there. Or even those who say, if I'm good now, just so I can get to heaven, I'm going to do what I can just to get into heaven, when doing the right thing is the reward in itself. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Versus to get to the next win. You know what I mean? I'm going to do this now to win this. But when you pray for someone, it's not so that even to say, see, God, look at me. Netter, look at me.
Mhm.
Prayed for another. That's not even
Mhm.
the purpose of it. It's because your heart sincerely is praying for that person. You know what I mean?
You're
So,
letting it come through.
yes.
We like a word that we use in our society, and most of us we use it quite often. I say we have to go back and reflect. One of the biggest misconception words that we use in all cultures, all society, is the Greek word called love.
Hmm.
Now, if you go into Webster's dictionary and look at it, the Greeks had four, I can't pronounce them right off the bat now, but they were four definitions for love for them. And it's brotherly love, this kind of love, and that kind of love. And so, and and basically when here, if you say I love you, most people looking for you to say it back. But in actuality, we learn from our parents this emotion or this thing is unconditional.
Mhm.
Is unconditional. There's nothing put on it. I
Which means
I had
me
a
loving you, you're not
one
required.
is greater than I don't love my if I at the time I was married, I didn't love my wife more than I loved my mother or my father. I didn't love my parents more than I love my cousins. It's nothing. Now the foundation, which is what we should build off, is different because different things come up. And if you look in Kemetic, the symbol for myrrh is a plow.
Mm-hmm.
It's a plow. Well, if we know that that is a farming tool, I had spent time with my grandfather down in Mississippi on his farm. I There are different types of plows. It's different time to get the soil ready. You plow the soil to get it ready to plant something to grow. Then they had another kind of soil that tended it while it was there. And you had one that also came along and plucked out weeds that was choking the life out of the plant as it grew. So love is unconditional. Myrrh should be for us, which we should use the word myrrh more than love. The Greek term is unconditional, it's unbinding. If I say I myrrh you, I'm not sitting up and waiting for you. Okay, you going to do I
Listen.
get it back? Can I get it back? You like you said before, if you're seeking something to get something in return, it's not pure. Myrrh is supposed to be pure. And I think we can um, a lot of times the other emotions that we put under the label of love, which to me should go under the definition of likes and dislikes, is the thing that we are looking for out of the other person, and we should get that back and forth.
Mhm.
Okay, but the essence of what we look at as myrrh, like we have for each other, our in Tepi, how we have a Baba Haru, all all this, our culture, our planet, our everything is unconditional
Mhm.
and simple. And so, what you were saying, we can't do this and look seek for something in things. That's why why I kind of hinted on that. It started out, do not scheme against people. Nature will punish you accordingly.
Mhm.
Okay, so
Right.
if you out here doing something to get something, but you scheming, Nature got something for you, So,
That's right.
and it might not, and most people do not understand, like, the punishment might not just be at you, it might be something dear to you, like your children or your family. It has a way of offsetting its stuff, you know.
That's right.
So,
Absolutely. So Curtis.
Yes, yes. Thank you for that point. You brought up a very good point, and it was illustrated by the plow as well, as you use the plow, the tool for sowing love. And
Mm-hmm.
it made me think of, in this statement, make the memory of you last through love of you, myrrh of you, unconditionally. But when your memory is brought into synonymous with the myrrh because
Mm-hmm.
of your deeds, you know, because of your deeds, the people, in the sense of the memory of you, is embedded because it's synonymous with love, with myrrh, the unconditional myrrh that you plowed through your deeds of kindliness, your deeds of sharing the blessings that you enjoy, particularly the knowledge from learning from the ancestors. And how you plow that isn't always necessarily the teachings. Sometimes it's the way you live. Sometimes you're plowing. We have a saying in AA that the best big book, you may be the best big book someone ever reads. So it's not just that I'm teaching you and having a study with you the way some religious practitioners, we want to study what sometimes you're plowing just by the way you live and you're teaching and you're modeling. But the other thing is, in this European culture, the ideology and worldview is of individualism, competitiveness,
Mhm.
measuring success, and people want to achieve a status where they have a reputation where they will never be forgotten.
Mm.
And I know, even from my past lifestyle, and we've seen this illustrated uh, in the streets and in the criminal lifestyle or whatever, my rep. I want
Mhm.
to be my rep. That's all I got. And we see people, they might go away and come back, and they're trying to rebuild their rep. They want to be remembered, and they have to maintain that rep. Well, that's from that colonized European, but they're saying, no, that's not. Our ancestors are leaving the path for us to work and plow through myrrh, and how we model and how we share versus more capitalism, power, money, power, and respect. No, that's not our way. That's not our way. That through myrrh and living the way that they would have us live based on the counsel that they left for us will help us become skilled. And something a hymn netter said from the teaching of Ptahhotep that is synonymous is, do not be evil, for kindness is good.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And that's very synonymous with what he just read out of the teaching of Ptahhotep. Because when you sow that, that's not being sowed out of love. That's not being sowed out of myrrh. And there's gonna be some reciprocity. It's not gonna be good. So with that, I pass.
That's
And as you can see, what we also share in here is that you can see where you can get some writings from one of our ancestors putting forth knowledge and putting forth the word, grab it up from some and go get another one. And to me, pretty much can read from any one of them, and it might be reflecting, but it, and you can bring them together. It's our the if you ever noticed that we have done this several times. We have done it from the Persian Rule. We have done it from the literature writings. And as you, I can read, oh, I found this passage here, and you'll say, I found it. And it seems that they always can um, uh, um,
Synchronicity.
something
Synchronicity.
and complement each other.
Yes.
in a way that you can go from one to the next. You can just open up anything and put your finger down and let somebody else read from something else, and they will compromise each other. This is how deep our writings, our ancestors' writings were, and a lot of those writings are coming. When we, a lot of times, we're looking at the literature of chemists, and we are thinking that it's just these people here. But a lot of the writings were writings that they came across and they were trying to expand on it. More of you will study that a lot of um, the pyramid texts, especially excuse me, Makuti text, um, um, and other reflections of writings, you will see that they are going back and they have came across something, or they are trying to continue the thought. That was why they had so many different schools of thoughts in that 3,000 years, 4,000 year time period that where you see most of these writings coming up. You remember they are trying to um, keep it intact,
Mhm.
and at the same time, as all civilizations do, they were changing, they were evolving, things were happening. Um, and especially in the great year of one of the functions that they were. So um, I feel that once we can start to decipher some more of the Taiseti, um, uh, Maduneta, their words of the writing, and go back more on, and some of it is hidden in some of our secret so-called things. It will deal with unbreaking mathematics and astrology. We have to understand that a lot of this stuff is coinciding to what they seen in the stars and the times and reflections, and did bring it in. Um, but what you'd really notice is that they were trying to hang on to something that they had got their hands on to.
Mhm.
The spark of stone is one of them, which we discussed about a couple of weeks ago, that he found a moth-ridden papyrus, and he wanted to keep, he saw how it was written, so he put it in stone. So not only would it last long, but it was a reflection of what he did, the love he had for it. So we have to do these things as we go along and incorporate them in our daily rituals, you understand, in our daily rites, and then they will reflect. The seeds are being sown. Every day you go out, you like the seed master. You throwing out
Those
seeds.
seeds, that's true.
You,
That's true.
you know, you throwing out seeds every time you go out. You have a wealth of stuff, and you will see that reflection, especially as you get older. As you get older,
It's almost
and
like the ancestors have plowed. We come along, we seed it. Then when the next generation comes, we put like that plow. We
mm,
plow with myrrh, uprooted for them. They seed their seedlings, carrying on whatever it is we leave. It's a continuous cycle of life.
mhm,
Must, because as we can see as Westerners now, how difficult it was to unearth some of this. You know,
mhm,
um, how much better it's getting for us to be able to do this,
mm,
but how difficult it once was. You know what I mean? Before, and resources were there, but just before having the ability to get to these resources, to be able to get our hands on the resources to unearth those things that were meant for us to find. And now
mm,
we're doing just that. We're planting seeds. Let's take a look at some of the comments here. We have
mm.
somebody, Sinette Love, peace is here. Anke Ma'at to you.
Okay,
Sinette
ma.
Bolton, yes, is here. We've got Sin William Stevens. Sin Rich is here. Sin Garrett Van, Anke Ma'at to you. Sinette Cheryl Lee. When you were speaking of the four kinds of love in Greek, uh,
Mhm,
Cheryl and Sinvan said they were Eros, Agape, Storage, and Filio.
Yes.
Yes,
Oh,
Thank
agape.
you. Appreciate.
yes, they were they had responded to that. Wonderful. But yes, for sure, I think that
As you can see, we can always grab these little computers, which I could have just grabbed my little computer here, but I did. But this is what I'm saying. We are going to have to really um, merge this technology that we will in this age that we're going into and reflect on. We must be prepared for this upcoming battle of that's coming, and I'm not too sure because we're going back to a time because everything is goes back into a time. There was a time on this planet that not a lot of the what we call wickedness, hatreds, and battles and wars wasn't done over color.
mhm.
Maybe people did not they didn't have this thing. It's this versus your it was just this is the way we are doing things and I want that. It was more, but it wasn't over
Just
where
your culture
you
was more
know,
power.
there was no such thing as um, they did understand that they were different groups of people, but they didn't look at them in that type of way. It started, like I said, basically when the Roman Empire, and then as we got into as the Roman Empire collapsed and everybody else started that these terms that the Europeans and all this other stuff started coming into effect, and we know more than you and such forth. And it's starting to reflect in our cultures now because you do see how these children are coming back, and it's coming back in all what we call cultures: Asian, Persian. They all of them are showing it. And then people are posting now that we like to post up. You can see that the young energy that's coming back uh, is coming back more aware than the last group that came back. And some of y'all are from that last group that came back, and you came back and your elders, your parents, and all, they wasn't prepared. They were stuck in this little zone. And here it is another 20, 30 years, maybe 50 years. Now, I don't know, I'll give it 20, 30 because it seems to have more come back a little quicker. That we are not, we better really grasp what's coming because those are the ones that I think going to really flip this planet on its edge because we are not prepared for them. And they ask, and you are still coming to me with just, oh, get down on your knees and pray. They just not going to tell me, oh, they not. Well, I look. Hydrogen and water, and yeah, you're going to have to explain stuff a little bit. And they are looking, and I keep going online and I'm seeing these babies. Some of them might be your own children. You might look at your grandchildren, and you're gonna say, "Damn, it's not damn. They've been here before. Damn, that's a whole lot of knowledge coming out right there. It's
Right.
not." And they do little things, like, and then they look at you. Did you catch that? And you sitting up there like, yeah, oh, that's cute. No, that ain't cute. You better pay attention to what is being manifested. And I think we have an opportunity to prepare ourselves for
Mhm.
this next group because you remember the last group that came through when we was and the parents and I was part of that life cycle, part of it maybe. Um, and we gave our parents hell. But the group that came after me came a little. That's the one I'm talking about. They're the ones. If you was born in the, were maturing in the '80s and the '90s, like you got to be about 10 or 15 in the '80s and the '90s.
Woo!
You did they turn this planet? They especially here. They turned this planet out.
Mhm.
And so I'm looking at we should be prepared for this next group because now we do know You can cycle. We can see it with our own eyes that you do. Some of us choose to come back again. Oh man, I didn't do things right the first time. Let me see how it is the second time. And they much more. They talking, they walking quicker. They,
We're
you
not
know,
going off of what you done told them without experience. They're not, like you said, that falling on your knees and pray, they're not even going to see the humbleness in that. They doers. They're not,
yeah,
they're
they,
doers.
they understand that process, but it's more to it. So they like saying, yeah, they hum, and we have to understand that. Yeah, the committed people have ceremonies, they hum, they not, but the average day person wasn't doing what the priestly sector was doing,
Exactly.
they were out there struggling. They were out there, we say these terms like we come from kings and queens. Not all of us were kings and queens.
That's mostly
Some of them
temple.
were
We're
workers.
doing, when we're doing rituals, that's mostly done in the temple. That's not
Yeah,
done in the streets.
yeah. So just like us, they had to live, had to make the day, you know, uh, um, do deals to sell their products, and it's the same. So and we have to understand that now more than ever. So as you read, if we gather today and we get together with each other on these Sundays and we talk about these and go through these scriptures and all that, we really must also awaken this first eye to pay attention to what we see going on in the world today and what's being manifested, and see how we can um, be there and assist. Um, Even in our land now, which we call Akabulin, they're going through a lot, where uh, countries are coming together and they saying, no, we're not taking this no more. And there's other ones still holding on to that colonial aspect of being in leagues, or what we say, in bed with those things that traumatized that land, that continent. And so, and Baba Haru said a long time ago, he said it was predicted, and I forgot where he got this, that we were gonna come here and change in the West. Way back then, it knew that the West, they would, which we are in, and that this is our going through the underworld and going through the things. And now that we come out again, we're supposed to go back and be the aiding foundation, because the aid for the world, as it always is, off that continent, Al-Kabulin.
Mm.
Al-Kabulin is where things are going to have to go back. They're going to go back out again, the emergence of the essence. And so we are supposed to be part of that. So we have to prepare us, and our children to understand that the change for this planet is come out of there. In our sister continent, India. So we have to be ready for this.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Mm-mm-mm. Well, another super deep discussion. Um, it definitely took us. I love it. I love it when we just go into dialogue and things like that. It was again a not rehearsed. Just it just comes off and then we run with it. So I thought that was an effort conversation. Curtis
Well,
Singer.
before we do anything, did anyone in that has joined us in the group, anyone reflect back in the commentaries?
Oh yeah, that's where
Oh,
we were getting where we got some of that. And then we have uh we have Sakina Ross, and that's Sakina Ra, who is here, and she was, and Sunette Cortia, she was in both YouTube and here. And she was
mhm.
saying that I see that through her grandbabies way ahead of us. But consciousness, yes, yes, of course, my grandsons too. She's like, but due to consciousness, but it still times surprises you how smart these kids are. Yes, yes, yes. Sinette Cheryl said that you must be a baby boomer. You're a baby
Yes, I
boomer.
no, did the gray hair?
When you was talking about what our generation did, I was born in '78, so I know coming up in the '80s, in the early not yeah,
Yeah. Well,
yeah, we tore it up.
no, the baby boomers did give, but in that time, remember the baby boomers was from 1945 to 1960.
Mhm.
And then they started. I was the last. I was the last of the baby boomers. But but and so we had that. But I've seen what my earlier baby boomers, the ones that came before me, they were mature and they becoming teenagers. Those are the people that I used to I would see uh, through the 60s, what they call the generations in the late 60s and the 70s. Those were they were the early part of my generation of what you saw in the 70s, you
Mhm.
know, and the 60s and the civil rights and everything, and all things, so, and they were coming of age and all that. And so we were trying to reflect off of what we call our big brothers and sisters in that. And then we acted up. But then that was that cutoff part. And we had a little bit of relaxation. But by that the 80s, mid 80s, 90s, ooh, the
That's
ones that
us.
were,
And
that
we
were born
yeah,
in the 70s, the mid 70s, and I started kicking off by the mid, the mid late 80s and 90s. Ooh,
yes,
they,
sir.
they it was a time, and
That
we
was
see
that was
that.
us. Yeah, that was us. And then it's funny we were talking. It's that Cheryl said, yeah, she was in 1958. It's this, also not only are you speaking of this in generations, just in general, but it changed, and also the eras also changed the family dynamics. If you guys can think about that, family dynamics changed over those eras too, because being black families. I
Especially a
grew
black
up,
family.
yes, black families particularly. I grew up with both of my grandparents, grandmother, grandfather, grandmother, grandfather. My dad's parents, they stayed together. Back then couples would even stay together, even when it probably sometimes wouldn't be healthy to stay together, but they believed in the dynamics of the family. I knew, because I had old country grandparents and family members. I knew men that had their family and had a whole nother family on the other side. And I'm not saying that that was great, but he took care of both households, and the family was a family union, no matter what. Now, granted, I can't say that that might have not have been. Yeah, there were several traumas and different things that went on, which later we could see when some relationships aren't healthy. And then, like the next generation, they still had a certain amount of the older ways, morals at least. The family reunions, the different things, even after that era of the grandparents that would stay together and such. Then you saw the black family change, like you said, even when you all came into being. Divorces started rising. They weren't that frequent. That they weren't many, but they were rising during that time. Then the next generation, there was no family unit. There might have been a bunch of babies, but the family unit, there was no more. Those morals were no longer there. The foundations had already started to break down. And of course, after the dope game and all of that kind of stuff, but the dynamics of each era still changed the family dynamics. You know what I mean? Um,
Babies raising babies are trying. Yeah. So
Grandmother's name Keisha. When people see me and my husband, I have a 29-year-old daughter. And the weirdest thing to me that's normal, but people say, wait, and that's her father? Yeah, that's her father. Like, but that's not normal. You know what I mean? That's not a normal thing. I'm married to him and it's her father. And she's 29 and we have two grandchildren. That is not normal. I'm a minority.
now,
Yeah.
in our community, that's
And not just being together, but having a healthy, happy relationship. I'm a minority.
mhm.
And
And we,
it's strange, to me.
yeah. Mhm. But we are on the path of getting it right. I know this. I see this. I see it. And we just keep doing the things that we're doing now, you know, because we can reflect on things in our lives and things that we've done. I sometimes tell people, I say, that part in the movie when Eddie, I think it was Beverly Hills Cop 2, and he's getting ready to go into the window with the little knife, and he has his two friends, and they police officers, and he says, uh, I wasn't always a police, a police officer. We all can reflect like that, right, St. Curtis?
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I've had some thoughts as you all were talking, and
mhm,
uh, I caught your reference about what was going on. Your reference overseas, Burkina Faso, and
mhm.
Ibrahim Traore. I don't know if anyone else caught it, but I caught it. I knew exactly what you were talking about. And Thomas Sankara is a good example of what our reading today in the Hosea as far as plow out of love.
Mhm.
And even though he was assassinated, the fact that the man plowed out of love, they couldn't kill his spirit, even though the colonizers were controlling everything. And then here comes Ibrahim Traore, who they believe is the return of his soul and spirit of Thomas Sankara. Well, that's African spirituality all day long. This is the
Yes.
same thing that is happening regarding our indigo children that are being born today. That I see a younger generation that they may not know what's right, but they know what's wrong. They wear
Mhm.
their hair a certain way. They're not falling for some of these false religions being thrown down their face. You know what I'm saying? Thrown down, thrown at them. They may not have figured out what's right, but they know that ain't, they know that's wrong.
Yeah,
And
Mhm.
it's
so
not
this
right.
is where what our Hosea was saying today is this is where our opportunity to multiply those at the city shelters,
Mhm.
that by our reading and following their counsel, we're going to have these great opportunities either through modeling or through plowing and sharing out of love, you know, and guide and help them find what is already within them,
Mhm.
you know, their African ancestry and the spirit that is within them. So that was some of the things that I was thinking. And the other thing is the cultural, we're at cultural war. We've always been at war. We've never not been at war. We were born into an American, we were indoctrinated without resistance to a system designed to destroy us, but they can't destroy us because we're at one with Raw never touch a raw. They can't destroy our spirit. It shows up and manifests whether we're the only people on the planet can make being poor look good. We make it so good.
What?
We make
True.
All over.
Yeah, we make it look so good. They think we enjoy that and they want to emulate it. We set the fashion trends. You understand? We're the only ones then in the middle of poverty that can create a whole music genre. Now you've got Koreans rapping, you got Asians rapping, you got folks breakdancing.
India.
That's us.
You have
That's
Native
we're the,
Americans. I came across something with Native Americans have incorporated the verbal rapping things
yeah.
in their music tone.
So as you were talking, I was thinking about, we just have to continue to plow out of love.
Hmm.
Well,
Plow
that's
out of
another
love.
reason why you see all of that too. Because it's
Yeah.
just like him that said earlier, the seeds, what you said, St. Curtis, the seeds. And think about this. Everywhere. Tell me one place. There's no place. Everywhere you look, you can find us in an Asian group, in the Korean group, well, just like you just mentioned, now Native American. Everywhere you look, you will find a piece of us, whether it be the rap, whether it be the dance, whether it be whatever the case may be, you will find us. That means our seeds have been scattered all over this earth. There is no place that we haven't been and won't go and still be resilient enough to be here just like that.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I think our spirit of creativity. I also, this is a crazy metaphor. I don't know if anyone will agree with it or not, but I really think for us here and this American society, we are the vaccination for what's happening over in the motherland. They're wanting us to
Mhm.
come back.
Yes.
We've been in the belly of the beast, surviving and thriving. They can't they can't get rid of us. But for over there, those that are still colonized, many of those other countries that are still in bed with, the
Hmm.
IMF and the European Union and all that stuff. Well, many of them, they're looking to us. They need us.
Yes.
They need
To help
us.
and to guide. And like I said before, they also have to get that concept. Right now, there's a big, I think it's in Nigeria where the Christian Nigerians and the Muslim are fighting and they are killing each other and doing great harm. And the thing that is not they're not under really overstanding, it's really Africans against Africans.
Mhm.
They have not, and that is something that has gone through, has been placed in our continents. Yes, we would have wars and this conflicts, but it wasn't dealt on the spiritual level. Or what you understand? So here you have a religion ideology, two different religion ideologies, and that's what's fighting. It's the same that went on in Ireland. Many years in Ireland, you had the Northern Ireland. You had the Protestants and the Christians battling each other, and they didn't realize that they were killing each their own essence, their own people. They were looking at the religion concept, and that's something that has to be eradicated, and understanding that you're not killing a Muslim, you're not killing a Christian, you're killing an African.
Right, right,
You
right.
know, and we can see it still raising its head back again here in our inner cities here, that we're not, it's not, oh, the Crips or the Bloods or this or that. When you kill one of your own, there's less warriors and warriorettes to be there when the true battle comes.
Mhm.
You understand? When a true battle comes, you have depleted because you killed the warriors. Y'all killed yourselves in conflicts that dealt with a wrong ideology. So we got to get back to that. That's my last thoughts or words for today.
All right. Well, it's definitely a good topic. Everything was wonderful. St. Curtis, would you like to close us out with prayer today? No?
I will defer that to him, Netter.
Okay. And then, yes, because I started this, you can close us out then. That sounds good to me.
Okay. So I don't have nothing off of the top of my head, which I should. So let's see. Just bear with me.
Take your time.
Oh, what I'm looking for is right here. We ended with something out of the curtain rule. Yes. And let me go here. And this is a prayer. It's coming off out of the curtain rule. Book coming forth by day and night. This will be plate number 18, 16, 17, sorry, 16, 17. And on page 109. Page 109, plate 17. That of Ra, advancing, he's destroyed opposition, come into existent things in earth during millions of years from the god Baba. I am stronger by it than the strong. I have power by it more than the mighty. So then I shall not be conveyed. I shall not be carried by force to the east to perform the festivals of friends. There not shall be done to me ghastly evil, nor shudder in the every sides, nor goring by the horns, not the eating of fish, not shall be done going to me. So then not shall be done things by evil unto me by fiends, nor going by the horns, not shall be devoured, therefore foulest, that of Ra, the head of a saw. Behold, I come into my field, I repeat my netaroos. Speak thine with me, not the precise dar bar kepera, not shall come into being. In very truth, sickness in the eyes of Tamor, not shall it be destroyed. We pray these things that have come from this God's words of our ancestors, written on papyrus and in stone, that we take the time to reflect on each other during this upcoming week, the ending of the so-called year. May our first eye continue to be awakened with the help of not only ourselves and our ancestors, but those that we walk in company with. I speak this. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe.
Shay.
I say,
Shay.
Hope
All
that
right.
was something unique. So
Yeah.
if you ever get called into something, I'm going to tell you, look, sometimes the words don't always come like you said. He reflected on me, and I was like, oh, I can't. Go grab something and make it into a prayer.
That's right.
Go grab something and read from it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
if need be, I could have, like I said, I do not run away from no types of scriptures. I have the Bible. I could have read from that too. We have gotten into that's the last thing I'm going to reflect on. Keep your scriptures, all of them. The reason why I say I have the Torah. I got to get it because the one I bought is all in their language. I forgot it was supposed to be English. I have the books of Mormon. The thing that's going to be different when you open up the Bible or when you open up the Quran or any of these other scriptures, that you'll be reading it from a first eye point of view
Mhm.
instead of a reading from a physical eye point of view. Remember some of the concepts it's been proven that some of the writings either plagiarize or inspired other writings that you see in those scriptures. Those are the things. So do not be scared of them.
Mhm.
Do not be scared of them.
Yes,
Just remember that you will interpret it with a first eye point of view because your first eye is awakening. Ashe? No, dua.
do
Dua.
I, do I.
wow.
And with that, may all of your hearts and ours be light as a feather. And until next time, Shimmy Ma'at, everyone with Myrrh.
Shemaat,
Right.
Shemaat.